We begin tonight in Washington, where an investigation and recovery effort continues a day after a deadly mid-air collision.
Officials now saying all 64 passengers and crew on board an American Airlines regional jet are presumed dead, in addition to 3 soldiers on board an Army Black Hawk helicopter. Tonight, crews are still searching the cold waters of the Potomac River for victims. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Caribe Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. 2 black box data recorders have been pulled from the wreckage in the Potomac. Both were located inside that regional jet. Now officials are trying to figure out what happened just before the collision. As emergency workers search the grim carnage from Wednesday night's mid-air collision, investigations quickly opened into what could have caused the deadly crash that killed 67 people.
This was a dark and excruciating night in our nation's capital.
The Pentagon, the NTSB, the Army, and others now gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and seeking answers.
No excuses. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
President Trump, without evidence, cast blame on air traffic controllers, the Black Hawk pilot, and took aim at the diversity policies of previous administrations.
What evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else.
Another target, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
He's a disaster.
Buttigieg shot back, calling the president's comments despicable. The current Transportation Secretary promising changes to keep disasters like this from happening again.
After the FAA studies what happened, we will take appropriate action if necessary to modify flight paths and permissions.
If we have the safest flying anywhere in the world, then we'll keep it that way.
The president reassuring Americans it is safe to fly. More than a dozen of the 60 passengers on board were part of the U.S. figure skating community. They were in Wichita, Kansas for the 2025 Figure Skating Championships. Former Olympic figure skater Nancy Kerrigan worked with some of those victims and was in tears today as she offered her condolences and support to the families, saying this tragedy will have long-lasting repercussions in the figure skating community.
The kids here really work hard. Their parents work hard to be here. But I feel for the athletes, the skaters, their families, but anyone that was on that plane, not just the skaters, because it's just such a tragic event. And then when you find out, you know some of the people on the plane is even a bigger blow.
In total, 67 lives were lost, making it the deadliest air tragedy in the U.S. in almost 24 years. The NTSB says they hope to have a preliminary report within 30 days.
Now to the latest on the financial fiasco at a West Valley school district that created a risk of shutting down schools. We just learned Isaac School District educators may finally receive their paychecks tomorrow. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly has been following this story for more than a week now. He's joining us live in studio with the very latest. And Chase, this is still a very big maybe, right?
Caribe, that's right. We're told all the money is there, but they're still waiting on Maricopa County Treasurer John Allen to approve the funds, something educators thought was going to happen today. Now, teachers are heading back into work tomorrow, not sure what's going to happen.
It was a really stressful day today.
Arizona Education Association President Marisol Garcia holding a late-night press conference regarding the ongoing financial crisis at Isaac School District that has left teachers unpaid.
These folks are living off $50 gift cards right now. It is pretty humiliating.
Garcia and Isaac teachers thought they would get paid Thursday after the district was bailed out by neighboring district Tolleson Union High School. They approved buying Isaac Middle School for $25 million and then leasing it back with interest. That and recent federal relief is enough to clear the $28 million debt Isaac is currently facing. It was said to be the solution everyone had been waiting for. But those paychecks never came.
The feeling is extremely tense on what may happen tomorrow if they are not paid.
Garcia said she was told by Keith Kenny, the receiver, now in charge of Isaac Financials, that they should receive paper checks Friday to get everyone their back pay. But there is one holdup.
But we are still waiting for County Treasurer John Allen to essentially okay all the money that has come in.
Allen has been adamant about clearing the debt first before payroll can happen. We're told he is currently seeking legal advice with the county attorney's office on this matter.
Is there a chance that he could decide not to do it tomorrow? I don't know.
At the same time, teachers are starting to lose hope.
We know of several teachers as well as classified staff who are interviewing for other positions and intend on leaving the district.
Praying that Friday they will finally get paid. But until that check is in their hand, they don't have trust in the system.
Everyone tonight is staying extremely vigilant.
We reached out to Treasurer Allen's office again for an interview, but we were told he wasn't available and that the office is currently monitoring ongoing developments. Of course, we'll be reaching out again tomorrow for an update. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. We have an update tonight on a shooting involving a Phoenix police officer in Maricopa. It happened yesterday morning in a neighborhood near Bolin and Porter Roads. The Pinal County Sheriff's Office, which is investigating, they say officers responded to a call about someone who was suicidal. Investigators say an officer shot a 39-year-old man who was armed with 2 knives. That man remains in the hospital tonight. Authorities say the officer was wearing a body camera and is now on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure.
Well, it is illegal for slow drivers to camp in the left lane on a 2-lane interstate, but a bill making its way through the state legislature would hit drivers who ignore that law with a hefty fine. Now, tonight, 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra explains how the bill would work.
It's a passing lane. It's not a travel lane, so they're just there and it slows everybody down.
Getting stuck behind a slow driver in the left lane is a common frustration for drivers commuting between Phoenix and Tucson.
It's like the domino effect. Once somebody slows down, they start slowing everybody back down.
A backup Republican state representative, Teresa Martinez, says she's experienced herself.
Traffic was backed up for miles. And I'm like, what is going on here? Just a slow driver.
That's why Martinez is proposing heavier fines and more education for a law that already exists. Her bill, HB 2235, states a driver who violates the driving on the right side of the roadway law is subject to a $500 fine. It's intended to be enforced similar to the HOV lane.
There are people who think twice about getting in the HOV lane during those specific hours because of the fine. They just don't want to pay the fine. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to pay the fine either. And this is what that's supposed to do, at least try to do.
The bill would also post larger signage along the highway to inform drivers of the law and penalty.
A big sign that says slower traffic over to the right, I think would help notify people because we do have a lot of out-of-state drivers.
It only applies to 2-lane interstates.
Only one that's a 2-lane that it would not apply to because ADOT doesn't want it is the I-17, and that's going up that mountain.
Drivers along the I-10 corridor near Casa Grande have mixed feelings about the fine.
I'm for heftier fines.
I do believe it's good. I also do believe they should have a warning at first.
Definitely against it because our economy is already crap. We don't need more.
But agree more education on the law would be beneficial.
There's not enough signage.
This bill passed through committee and is making its way to the House floor. Representative Martinez tells me she's willing to hear feedback on this bill and also willing to negotiate the cost of the fine. At the state capitol, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thanks. Let's talk some weather with meteorologist Crystal Long. Crystal, just a day until the weekend. We're at Friday Eve, and it's shaping up to be an awesome weekend.
Oh, yeah, we're about to be spoiled by a balmy blitz, and we're already starting to turn up those temperatures tomorrow with pure sunshine. Waking up to the 40s, quickly snapping into the 50s there later on in the morning, cracking into the 60s, and 69 degrees is our typical high temperature this time of year, and that's where I think we'll take it tomorrow. Here's the thing in Flagstaff, we're already bouncing above average tomorrow. 44 degrees is your usual high temperature this time of year, but we'll have that accomplished before lunchtime, and we'll send you straight up into the 50s in the afternoon on your Friday. Then here's a sneak peek at your wonderful weekend weather. I spy a little spring showing up here. These numbers are more reminiscent of March standards. We'll even get on the cusp of 80 degrees on Sunday in the valley. With a mixture of sun and clouds in our mountain regions, we will stay dry. Maximums 10 to 15 degrees above average in the 50s and 60s. But wait, it goes even warmer from here. You'll see that in the best 7-day forecast in the country coming up next.
All right, Crystal, thanks. One of the stories that really caught our attention today is a small student group at ASU. They're asking students to report their classmates to ICE, saying they'll host a special event tomorrow to spread their message. Well, now other student groups are calling on ASU to take action against the move. Tonight, 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora is looking into the plan and ASU's response.
A post on social media.
It was really heartbreaking, really frustrating.
Having a real impact on campus at ASU.
It's disgusting and it has no place on this campus.
As a group called College Republicans United at ASU, who are not affiliated with college Republicans at ASU, say they oppose immigration and multiculturalism.
We're hosting a Report Your Illegal Student event tomorrow. Very shocking title, I know, very divisive.
Isaiah Alvarado is the president of the ASU chapter.
This is not an act of hate or bigotry. This is an act of love for the American nation.
He says his chapter has 30 students and says the planned event is to call attention to what he says is an insufficient number of undocumented immigrants deported so far by the Trump administration. How are you going to determine, well, this fellow student is legal or this fellow student is here in an undocumented way?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, it's not up to us to vet that process, but we do know ICE has very stringent regulations and processes and due process, of which they, of course, sort through individuals.
The fact that they're asking students to report students that they think might be here illegally, what does that mean? Does it mean that every student who looks different than you is now going to be subject to an ICE report?
Jacob Martinez is the pro bono chair of the Chicano Latino Law Student Association, one of several groups calling for ASU to take action.
This has absolutely no place on our campus. It's hate, it's fear-mongering, and we're calling strongly on the university to put a stop to it.
While other students raise questions on code of conduct concerns.
I would like to see the administration uphold the principles that they are governed by, to look at the student code of conduct and find those violations, investigate.
The president of College Republicans at ASU, the separate group on campus, telling 12 News in a statement on the planned event, that's law enforcement's job. Our job is to be law-abiding citizens, and we shouldn't be going maliciously after people. I don't agree with those who choose to enter our country illegally, but I don't believe that it's our job. While ASU has not responded to 12 News' emails or phone calls on the event, Congressman Greg Stanton writing in part on X, ASU is investigating the matter, and I am confident appropriate action will be taken. Every student must feel safe on campus. Something.
Students are scared. They don't want to see their fellow students potentially being deported.
Already concerning.
At the end of the day, the immigrant that they're trying to call a criminal is a student trying to get their doctorate degree, is a student trying to become a lawyer to help the people in their community.
Colleen Sikora, 12 News.
All right, Colleen, thank you.